Arkansas, where we want to welcome our audience now to the Hearn Center on the campus of the University of Missouri for tonight's SEC Network coverage of women's college gymnastics as 16th-ranked Missouri Tigers welcome the 8th-ranked Crimson Tide of Alabama. I'm Bart Connor along with Kathy Johnson-Clark. There is Shannon Welker in his 6th year here running the Tiger program, and each of these teams tonight have some specific goals. Kathy, why don't we outline that?
And it's all about sticks. Get yourself on stick alert. They're going to put their money where their mouth is, or I should say their peanut butter where their sticks are. The gymnastics team's going to donate a jar of peanut butter to the local food bank for every stuck landing.
Actually,
so
5 jars of peanut butter, so even better than that.
Right?
So we'll be keeping an eye on that for the Missouri Tigers. And there is Dana Duckworth, the head coach at Alabama, and she has a very ambitious goal for her team as well.
Absolutely. I think she was inspired by the Stick It to Hunger program that they're doing here, and she wants, look at this, 32 of 36 sticks. That is lofty, but if you're going to go big, you got to dream big first.
And they hope to hit 20 of 24 handstands on bars. So we are set to go in this competition. As always, the host team gets what we call the Olympic order. That means the Missouri Tigers will open up on the vault, and Alabama will open up on the bars. Missouri's first vaulter is senior Madeline Huber from St. Louis.
And Bart, in order to stick a landing, the stick really happens in the air. You have to hit that shape in a perfect position to see the landing, feel it as it's coming, so you can't rush and try to get to the stick too soon.
This is one of the better events for the Missouri Tigers this year, and as we said, they had a great score last week. We're only using 5 vaulters in the lineup.
And they're ranked 14th in the nation here. Opens with a Yurchenko full. 995 start value. She fought for it, but that's a slide back. So unfortunately, they're not going to get their first stick.
Oh, I'd give it to them. You know, 5 jars of peanut butter for the local Central Missouri Food Bank. Come on. I don't think the judges will give him the stick, but I think the peanut butter should be handed out.
It was close. She kept the feet together, but they slid back, Bart.
Madeline Huber, one of the 6 seniors on that team for the Tigers. Now to the bars. Ari Guerra, one of their seniors from League City, Texas. Alabama's ranked 9th in the country on the bars. This has been a very solid event for the Crimson Tide.
Well, they're coming off posting their highest bar score against LSU. Really trying to hit those handstand positions, maintain form, straight legs, pointed toes. Very nice job on that transition down to low bar. Legs came apart a little bit on that hip before the cast handstand. Slight deduction there. Big double layout.
Oh.
And there's a stick. First of the night. 1 for 1. Little bit of a sway back and piped in those hips on those handstands. Judges are looking for a stretched body on those handstands, but check this out. Double layout, completely straight body, and a perfectly stuck landing.
And their first-year assistant coach, Ryan Roberts, was appreciative of that. Now back to the ball for Missouri, Gabrielle Gatula.
Oh my gosh, I thought she had that stick. That is a step you don't need to take.
The vault was high and big in the air, wasn't it?
Much better than she had done in warm-ups. Maybe a little bit higher than she expected. Slight over-rotation. The hips were back, so she had to take that step back. But I know they were going to be pleased with the vault in the air. Nicely done.
Missouri has been adjusting their lineup. Even here to the last couple of minutes, it was supposed to be Chelsea Christensen in that spot, but they moved her to the 6th spot. So Gatula got the call there to go second up, coming after Madeline Huber's 9-8. We'll go back to the bars. Kylie Dixon will be next to go after we get the score for Ariana Guerra. Remind people the rules in women's collegiate gymnastics. There are 6 gymnasts per team on each event. Just the best 5 out of 6 scores count towards the team total. The team with the highest cumulative score wins. And as I mentioned, home order is vault, bars, beam, and floor. The away order, for Alabama in this case, bars, vault, floor, and then they'll finish on beam. Scores in for Ariana Guerra, a very strong 9.85 to lead them off. That's her season high as we get ready to see sophomore Kylie Dixon.
Nice to see Kylie get that mount squared away. She had a very strange mistake in the last competition and took an extra swing. Beautiful handstand, really attacking those positions. This is a high-scoring potential routine. Love that she does the release move at the end, really spreads the difficulty throughout this routine. Watch the form on the half in, half out. Just a little bit of foot form on that. Want to see these past to handstands swing up, not muscle up. And then, of course, you want to see that flat back, no angle in the hips and shoulders. Well done. This is a full twisting double back. Loses the feet and legs just a little bit in the air. They really need to be glued together at the knees and ankles.
Back to vault now. Aspen Tucker, the junior from Fort Myers, Florida, coming after Gotula's 9.75.
Nice job on the landing. I may have seen a micro hop, but I'm going to erase that from my mind because I think that deserves some peanut butter. She had a little bit of an angle in the shoulders. Got to get those arms back really fast onto the table so you can block it up. She's a tiny bit off center on the table. You want to be right down the center of the table and land directly in line with the table on the mat.
Back to the bars now for Alabama. Kylie Dixon had another 9.85. So 2 9.85s. Those are both season highs for the visiting Crimson Tide. Jency Givens, one of the young freshmen now from Southern California, on the bars.
We'll see if they can keep this aggressive approach on bars, going after those handstands. Perfect job on that first one. Jency has beautiful feet, lost the toe point just a little. In the middle of that release move, they flexed. But when they are pointed and together, what a beautiful look on this event. Double layout, a little bit of a pike going into the double layout, and just an adjustment on the landing.
Courageous young lady. She was out of gymnastics for nearly 3 years after suffering a compartment syndrome surgery on both of her lower legs, and that is a brutal surgery to go through.
Nice job. Just a little slight adjustment on the landing with the one foot.
So 3 hit routines for the Crimson Tide. We go back to the vault. Morgan Porter set to go now. 9.875 was the score for Aspen Tucker before her.
Morgan's working on a 1.5 that we should see later in this season. Pretty big hop back. If that hop becomes close to 3 feet, it's a larger deduction, a 2 technical point deduction instead of a 1.
The redshirt junior, she spent all of 2017 out of the competition because of a torn Achilles.
I think if she flared that out just a little bit more at the end, it would help the position in the air and help her stick the landing.
Shea Mahoney will be set to go for Alabama. Jency Givens' score is in a season high 9.8, so 3 season highs in a row for the visiting team.
Shea Mahoney scored a 9.95, a season high in the last meet. Look at the tight form in this routine, just beautiful leg form. Squeezes those feet, ankles, and toes together. Held that toe point in her release move. Perfect handstand position. Great routine going so far. Half in, half out. Look at the form in the air and
beautiful.
the fight for the sticks. You got it.
Terrific form
in the air. That's what I meant by the knees together, the toes together, and watch how she keeps the toe point throughout the entire skill. Just a little bit close on the regrasp. Nice handstand, but watch this. Legs glued together. I think that's where some of the peanut butter went. Kept those knees, those ankles tight.
Mahoney did her elite training at Legacy Elite in the Chicago suburban area with 2 Olympic champions that you and I know well. Back to the vault now, Brittany Ward.
Their hardest, most difficult vault in the rotation. Half on, front with a half off. Very well done in the air. Unfortunately, got a step on the landing. But watch this, very intricate vault. Good form, really. And that vault has gotten better in terms of amplitude since last year. Very tight form in the air.
She was coming after the score of Morgan Porter, a 9.825. So back to the bars now. Lexi Graber coming after Shea Mahoney got a 9-9.
Watch the combination she opens this routine with. And you see these two more difficult skills back to back. Very impressive right here. Giant pull, a little pass vertical on that, but right into a very big ginger. Little leg separation right as she regrasped. And again, the toes came apart just a little on the bail. These are tiny, I'm talking micro errors, just minor flaws in the routine. The rest is outstanding, good form. Oh, lost her legs right at the end of the half in, half out, and then over rotated.
Graber was out of the competition last week after basically stubbing her toe on a vault. We expect to see her in the all-around tonight.
Watch where she loses the form. Right at the end, the legs kind of splay out to the side, and I think that affected her ability to see and feel the landing.
Here's what happened to her last week. She was in the warm-up doing a vault, and it looked actually like a perfectly normal vault and a good landing. But apparently she rolled her toe under a little bit.
Actually, it's just landing short. She didn't roll it under. I talked to Dana before the meet. It was more, the big thing she can't do is land short. That puts that pressure on that toe.
So they put a boot cast on her last week and rested her, but they're going to need her this week because Abby Armbrecht was supposed to travel with the team but got something of a stomach bug, and so she is back home in Tuscaloosa. She didn't even travel with the team here, so it adds a little extra pressure here to the Crimson Tide, who are trying to get a win up here in Columbia. We mentioned that we're going to try to keep track of the stuck landings, not only because that's important for the scores, but also because there's a charity involved, and we'll spend a little more time talking about this. Now, Emily Gaskins will go now because Chelsea Christensen from Missouri did not go with vault. They went with 5 vaulters, 5 solid vaults. They didn't need the 6th vault.
Lost her back just a little bit on that pirouette on low bar. Saved it nicely, though. This rotation is filled with very nice leg form and toe form. Little close on that double layout. Probably missed that release point just a little bit, but handled a pretty good landing.
Seeing a lot of polish from the Crimson Tide in the handstand positions, body positions, and form.
I can see why Dana said she wanted to see all these handstands hit and go for these landings. They're at that point in their training that they can really fine-tune.
Shea Mahoney had a 9-9. Lexi Graber's score is in a 9-8. And Alabama has the lead after the first rotation here in Columbia. We're off to a great start at Friday Night Heights. Join us for the second rotation.
It's so rewarding to see when we have upperclassmen that are continuing to make strides and get better, even as seniors. They've really helped us build this program and really become an SEC quality program. We're certainly going to miss them, but we're excited about what we're going to do this year and the leadership that they bring to our team.
And back inside the Hearn Center on the campus here of the University of Missouri for Missouri Tigers hosting the Crimson Tide after one rotation. Alabama has a lead by .125 after a season-high score on the bars to open up tonight's competition, a 49-25. Hi, everybody. I'm Bart Connor, along with my fellow Olympic medalist, Kathy Johnson-Clark. And after one rotation, I think we saw some interesting improvements for both of these teams.
Absolutely. I know we were super amped, wanted to see all stuck landings. We only got 2, but I will tell you, I saw some really good gymnastics. Much improved on the vault. I like the amplitude improvement and the shapes in the air from Missouri. And Alabama, wow, went after those handstands, went after those sticks, so good stuff.
We mentioned sticks. Maybe we all got a little bit too excited about this, but it is for charity. And so the Central Missouri Food Bank will benefit tonight when the Missouri Tigers stick their landings. However, the 2 sticks in this rotation came from Alabama.
Really, really beautiful. And how exciting we're going to get to see a Yurchenko double twist from Shallon Olsen. A lot of difficulty, and I know they're still really focused on these landings, still trying to get the stuck landing.
Shallon Olsen is the world silver medalist, second only to the one and only Simone Biles in Doha this past year. We'll get a chance to see her in this next rotation when we come back to Missouri. Stay with us. set to go now in rotation 2. Alabama goes to the ball.
Beautiful form in the air on that Yurchenko full.
Shea Mahoney, who gave us a highlight in the first rotation on bars with a 9-9, gets the call to go leadoff spot and vault today for the Crimson Tide.
And that was as close to a stick as you can possibly get. Just a little micro hop at the end. But I love the stretched body position. Hips 4 feet off the table. Pretty good distance, 5 feet out. Actually, I could see that hop back in real time. She covered it and nuanced it really, really well in real time.
Here's Aspen Tucker now, the leadoff performer from Missouri on the bars.
Good first handstand. Way to go after that skill. Single bar release. She was as far away from that bar as you can be and still recatch the bar.
Looked like she panicked a little on the handstand afterward.
Oh, very short on that last handstand right there. Full pirouette into the top double back, but there is your stick.
There you go. She competed in the all-around in all 13 meets in 2018. A very balanced performer for the Tigers.
This was the landing they were looking for. She sets it up with a full pirouette. Good form.
And she gets a stick. As we go back to Emily Gaskins now, Alabama has adjusted their lineup a little bit. Shea Mahoney before her, a 9.875.
Look at the distance on that vault, and the landing was superb. Those are the two excellent parts of the vault. Didn't quite have the height off the table that you need. Didn't quite get that block, but boy, she went all the way to the back of the table. Look at that. With the pre-flight, that's what gave her nearly 8 feet of distance. Really crazy. She gets those arms back, goes to the very end of the table. Little different technique, but unfortunately shows that height position. They'll have to deduct for that.
And a little offline from the vaulting table, but she's one of those 6 impressive freshmen on the Crimson Tide squad. Brooke Kelly is up now. Aspen Tucker led them off with a 9.75.
Glad to have her back in the bar lineup. She had tweaked her wrist. Way to attack that first handstand. A little bit of leg separation at the end of the kip. Oh, and didn't quite get that handstand after the bail. Another short handstand at the end. Getting a little bit rushed in this gorgeous double layup there. And another stick for Missouri.
The senior from Birmingham, Alabama.
I'll tell you what, I think I snuck over there and put some peanut butter on the mat right there. Because that's a pretty sticky landing.
John Carney, their bar coach, responsible for the good work they're doing over there. This entire coaching staff has only been here 6 years, and they've worked together very nicely. As we go to Ariana Guerra for Alabama, coming after Emily Gaskins at a season-high 9.85.
Ari does the same vault we saw from Brittany Ward. So round up onto the board, half on, front with a half off. A little bit off on that landing, kind of buckled her knees a little bit. We watched her land short in warm-ups on floor. And I think she's being very careful. Really can't handle another landing like that. Legs were a little bit bent too soon while she was still on the table.
They taped and retaped her ankles a couple of times after that short landing on the floor. We'll see how it affects her through the rest of this competition, but good control on that landing that had to sting for sure. Chelsea Christensen, you see her average for this season.
Very pretty on this event. She's been really consistent. Love this combination. Right to a giant ball, right into her release move. Like to see her turn that over just a little bit more to show that counter swing. Really needs to hit this final handstand on top. Not too bad. Another full pirouette into her tuck double back. Little hop back.
Coaching staff was saying they're just really working on her confidence to help her be a little bit more aggressive. I think that'll be a good boost for her, Kathy.
The first half of the routine was extremely aggressive, especially this combination right here. I like that she put those two difficult elements back to back, especially because the amplitude isn't quite there on the release move, but it's impressive to combine those elements.
Ariana Guerra for Alabama had a 9.75, and that sets up Lexi Graber. And as we mentioned earlier, she hobbled off the vault warm-up last week, and she has been just a little bit slowed up, I believe, by that.
And she does a difficult 1.5 twist. Really well done. Nicely done in the air. Slightly off-center on the landing and a step forward. But at this point, especially when you're coming off having slightly injured your foot, you don't want to land short. You don't want to underdo anything. So this was slightly overcooked. Over 4 feet height from the table. Good distance, 7 feet out. That's a large step, so that's closer to a 2/10 production than a 1/10, but we'll see what the judges do.
Becca Schugel now, the 50-year senior from Eagan, Minnesota, set to go. Chelsea Christensen had a 9.8, excuse me, Kathy.
Like the way she marked that handstand position. Good form on her release move. Short on that final handstand. Loses it a little bit in those handstand because of the sag in the back. Good fight on that landing. I think the feet slid just a little bit low.
It's good to have her back in the lineup. The 50-year senior suffered a season-ending Achilles injury last year in mid-January, so she's finished her undergraduate degree, working on her nursing degree while she's finishing her last year of eligibility.
Interesting from that side view, which is where the judges sit, you could see her lose her foot form on the release move, so they will probably deduct there.
Fallon Olsen, world silver medalist. This is a big vault, Kathy.
Double twist, 10-0 start value. Only a few athletes in the country are doing this level of difficulty. And the amazing thing is she kind of like scoots down the runway. It's not a big, powerful run, so her power is deceiving.
Yeah, it's almost like she slowed up into it, didn't she?
Absolutely, and you think, no way is she going to pull a double full, and yet there it is. 4 feet. Normally you need to get up a little higher. She's very quick to twist. Very uncanny, really, about getting that skill all the way around. Chest was a little bit low, so they'll dig up there.
Before her, Lexi Graber had a 9.875. As we go now to Morgan Porter, the redshirt junior now. Becca Schugel had a 9.825.
Morgan opens up with her blind change to her release move. A straddle Jaeger, a little bit of flex feet. And added this toe-on handstand. Nice upgrade to this routine. Little leg separation in the bail. Good position on top of the bar. For that final handstand and a front. Ooh! I was afraid of that. She hyperextended her knee, I believe, on the landing. I was afraid right as she landed. Hopefully it just stunned her, but it was a little bit of a straight leg landing. Going for the stick.
Here's a young lady who, after the 2017 season, had an Achilles tear and returned to action last year. Consistent contributor on the bars.
Yeah, it's really too bad because the skill, she did it very well. Plenty of amplitude, perfect rotation. I think going for the stick very aggressively. Sometimes you miss time when you need to give just a little bit on that landing, and she landed lock-kneed and it hyperextended.
2 years ago in this competition on floor, she actually tore her Achilles tendon. So we'll be keeping our fingers crossed to see if her knee is okay after that unfortunate landing. It's been a rough week for the Missouri Tigers because Saria Lewis had an injury earlier in the week as well, and was hopeful to be in the lineup this week, but unfortunately not. So unfortunate for the Tigers, and yet they have to finish with the final performer, and that, of course, is Madeline Huber, the senior from St. Louis.
nice stretch in that handstand. Out of the, ooh, missed her grip there on the low bar, handled it, got back into the routine. So just a minor little error there. Two giant swings to the double layout. Very nice job on that landing. You'd have to look very closely to see that micro hop on the landing. But nice job coming back. Notice how that left hand overshot the bar, but she got the grip back on, finished the routine strong with that double layout, just a quarter hop back.
And just like Missouri in that rotation prior, Alabama elected only to use 5 vaulters. And when we come back, we'll spend a little time getting updated with Ari Guerra, a heroic young gymnast who's come back from a pretty dramatic injury. Don't go away.
I competed a few meets, and then one day I just woke up and I couldn't even put like my chin to my chest right here. Pain like all the way down my legs, and we just knew there was something wrong. So I went back to my back doctor, and I actually had 4 breaks. The way my back was, if you have the body here and then I guess the back sits here, like it was detached. And so they were both in 2 levels were slipping out. And my back doctor, he was just kind of like, I care about you as a person. If you were my daughter right now, this is the steps we would take.
Ari is a miracle. And I'll tell her on a bad day, hey, think about where you are now and where you could have been. Here's what's the most memorable thing. Her first floor routine in Coleman Coliseum.
Ari Guerra will be up next.
Nice how that built.
What a moment for this young freshman, and boy, does she deliver.
After landing like my last pass, I was like, I finally did it. Like, this is my statement, you know, like I have come back from my injury.
She came off the floor and I'm crying, and all I said is, you did it. And I kept saying, you did it. Like, she did it.
I stood up and I was already crying. And I remember I was like high-fiving my teammates, and I was just like pouring tears. That's something you can't take back, and that's something I'm gonna always have when I look back in gymnastics.
Well, my heart has cried before, so I know that feeling, and this is such a beautiful moment for this athlete to be able to have this senior year and have things turn out the way you want them to because of desire, heart, passion, and just a love that you've developed since you were a little girl for a sport.
Courageous young lady, and a very special thanks to Aaron Hepp and the Crimson Tide Productions for producing that terrific feature. Alabama leads by 15/100ths of a point. When we go to the next rotation, Missouri will be on the balance beam. Alabama will go to an event where they excel, and we'll get to see Ari Guerra. That, of course, is the floor exercise. Don't go away. Great gymnastics night in Columbia. On the sidelines, there is Morgan Porter. We saw her appeared to hyperextend her knee on the bar landing, and they helped her off. We'll see what's going to go here, Kathy.
I just saw her run across the floor. She warmed up beam. She did all of her skills.
Wow.
So they're testing it. I've never been more excited to see someone look like they may be okay.
Well, we'll update you as soon as we find out her exact status, because it'll either be her or Aspen Tucker. We'll have to see if they adjust the lineup as they go into this third of 4 rotations. Casey Jo McPherson giving some final notes to Mary Nicholson, who will get the lead off. Now, this is quite a change, because for the last few years, Allison Bauer has always been in that leadoff spot. Tonight, they're going with Mary Nicholson, the junior.
And I think it's a good move. One, Allison Bauer is going to
eventually graduate,
so she can't always be your lead on. Mary is a really perfect choice for this position. You want to see how she handles this kind of pressure. It's a little different. 2 back handsprings to a layout step out. Nice aggressive attack on the landing. Love the way that she works on high toe. It's not just the elements of value that are judged in gymnastics. The in-between, they have to keep precise footwork, proper posture throughout the whole routine. There also needs to be an artistic presentation of the routine as they show perfect balance and control throughout from start to finish. Nice job.
Missouri's ranked 15th on the beam in the country. They only lost one routine from last year's lineup, and of course they're bringing back Becca Schugel after her injury. This is one of those events where they've acknowledged that they've had just a few oops moments where they didn't continue the momentum with the scores. We'll see what they can do here tonight as they trail the Crimson Tide by 15 1/100ths of a point. Maddie Desch will lead off Alabama on floor.
Maddie has worked so hard on cleaning up the footwork in this routine, correcting her posture and her shapes in the air of the leaps, but her tumbling, big power. Nice height on that pike double back. Landings on floor need to show complete control on 2 feet. Always a fun pass to watch, those combination passes, and hers just keeps going. 4 skills in a row.
I think it's interesting that she went back to her floor routine choreography from her freshman year, Kathy. She felt more comfortable with it, didn't she?
It made all the difference. It's a routine she has fun with, that she can really show off her personality and what she does best. Those are those leaps that the judges are looking for, the picture in the air, and on the landing, both feet should be together.
These final 2 events for Alabama, of course, they graduated last year. Nikki Guerrero and Kiana Winston. So the big question mark for the Crimson Tide, will they be able to replace those big 9-9 scores from those 2 superstars who graduated?
Okay, on that double back, on that last double back, she did such a great job of finally getting her chest up and really trying to show off that stick position, but when she landed, she actually had her chest down. So watch this right here. Very clever and a nice effort in trying to cover that. But when her feet make contact right here, her chest is a little low. She springs it up, which I love. And we'll see what the judges do.
She had some impressive elite training. She was a former member of the U.S. team at the World Championships in Nanning, China. So she has an extensive elite career in addition to her 3 years at Alabama. Allison Bauer, as we mentioned, ever since her freshman year, was the leadoff for Missouri on beam. Now she's in that unusual spot of going second.
And as Casey Joe said, this is a balance beam worker who is just very consistent. No matter where she puts her in the lineup, she knows she's going to hit this routine.
By the way, Mary Nicholson, 9.85 to lead them off.
This is one of the most challenging events to really find the perfect lineup. Needs a little bit more amplitude on that cat leap, the leap before that front toss. Knees have to be, your thighs have to be parallel to the beam, and it really needs to rise up a little bit higher. There's her leap series. Nice job. A little bit of leg form, not quite the amplitude I'd want to see like on the leaps and the jumps, but so solid, very secure. Here's her back handspring, lay out, step out, little legs. But what a consistent performer for them on this event.
And that's another stick, one of the 7 seniors on this team at Missouri, doing her part, Allison Bauer from Mesa, Arizona. Now we go back to Alabama's floor. Maddie Desch, a season-high 9.85 to lead them off. That brings up Shea Mahoney, the junior from Algonquin, Illinois.
And if you're feeling a little low of energy right now, just let this routine rub off on you. Very high energy. Opens with the tuck double back. they really have to watch. She has an Achilles ankle issue that they have to manage throughout the season. Love how precise her footwork is. And she finishes all of her dance elements. That's a stick. Control on the 2 feet before stepping into the dance. See how stretched her posture is. She doesn't sit in her hips and sag. Everything is stretched to the fullest.
As I mentioned earlier, her coaches, both Chinese Olympians, Wu Jiani and Li Yuezhou, they now coach in the Chicago suburban area, done a really nice job with her presentation.
Finishes with a more difficult double back in a pike position. Chest was a little bit down, so they may take a slight deduction there, but nice to see her do the more difficult of the 2 double backs at the end of the routine. She can really use her technique. At the end of the routine, you're a little bit tired, but that technique can kick in. Good lift, just opened up a little bit early.
She's getting a couple of notes from Dana Duckworth as we go back to beam now. Aspen Tucker coming after the second 9.85 in a row for Missouri. Allison Bauer had a career high there.
Work on that little ankle position in those poses, really try to keep them in line. Nice job on the back handspring, back pike. Cat leap into a switch leap. They're going to get her on that switch leap. Didn't quite show the full split. Really not close. A pointed toe is really starting from the knee down. You really want to see that development so they can flatten the knee, really extend the ankle to toe point. Hers is a little bit weak throughout the routine. Will probably be a cumulative deduction, but a great job on that double twist. Love the dismount.
It's a good point, Kathy. Last year she had 31 scores that were 9.8 or higher, but to get into that 9.9 range, you really need to show that special polish.
Here's her acro series, much more difficult than the layout step out. Nice to see that. When she cleans up the form, score will be even higher, but very solid. Good for her.
Lexi Graber now on the floor for Alabama. That's the second 9.85 in a row. This one for Shea Mahoney before her.
Opens with a full in. That's a good landing. Good control on both feet. Chest was just high enough. Choreography in the corner got a little bit small if she'd performed those parts as big as the bigger elements of her choreography. Nice job on that full twisting front layout. Double back, good landing there too. Nice job, especially for being put back into the lineup. Last minute, good for her.
After that last week's injury, great to see her performing with such confidence. It didn't look like it affected her at all on floor.
Her most difficult pass was her first full twisting double back. Pretty good form. Really managed a nice landing there. And this is her combination pass. Front layout, front full. Nice job on the twist. Could have been a little higher in terms of amplitude.
And she earns the Alabama stick hammer.
Nailed it.
They blinged out your average hammer from the hardware store. Well done, huh? Like Gabrielle Gatula now coming up after Aspen Tucker notched in 9.7. Now we thought we might see Morgan Porter. We weren't sure if she was going to go after what appeared to be a hyperextension of her knee, but she's out of the lineup in this case, and that brings up Belle Gatula.
Nice push through on those back handsprings all the way through her shoulders. Good form. Little balance break at the end. Those triple series really earn good bonus. You get a 10th of a point just for putting 3 elements together on top of the bonus for the D element of the layout. You want to see the gymnast look out from the beam. Eyes up off the beam. Look for the pace, the rhythm. Nice job. And another stick. She had just a little bit of a wobble on her triple series here, but love the way she pushes through those shoulders. Good form, just a little bit crooked in the air, but fought and saved it. And there's that 180-degree split. Goes beyond it beautifully.
And the stuck landing will earn 5 more jars of peanut butter for the charity that's benefited tonight, the Central Missouri Food Bank, and this Stick It to Hunger night. As we get set for floor now, Ari Guerra coming after Lexi Graber, a 9.925, Kathy.
Great score, and I love this music for Ari. It has such an epic feel.
Reigning SEC floor champion coming back after that back surgery.
She warmed up a double layout, landed a little bit short, so they're going to play it safe as they should. Opens with a tuck double back. There's even power in her dance, in the choreography and the presentation. Shows off the height on those leaps and jumps. Such a beautiful connection that these gymnasts have with their sisters on the team. They really feed off the energy from the sidelines. They've got each other's back.
Oh, nice.
There is a stuck landing. That's perfect. Good for her.
How nice after she stung her ankles in the warm-up. That didn't affect her all on that last landing.
Now, of course, we know the landings are super important, and that last one was spectacular, but so are the leaps. They are just as important. You've got to show off the amplitude, the height. They need to really fly off the floor and show that picture perfect position in the air. But check this out. No movement. Peanut butter. That's
Ari
joy.
Guerra. And congratulations all around as we go back now to beam.
Oh, I like that tuck jump
Brooke Kelly.
into the split jump.
Gabrielle Gatula before her, a 9.85.
Nice quick pace of this routine. Front aerial to the one-arm back handspring. Keeps it moving. Really covered the slight balance break nicely.
Last year she was in all 13 lineups on beam.
to a sheep jump. It's the most difficult jump. It's an E jump on balance beam. Very difficult to get full credit for. Your knees should really stay together. The toes should touch the top of the head. Little short of rotation on that front full. Didn't quite get the stick on that.
Remember, there are 6 athletes in each rotation. You can drop the lowest score. So right now the score they would like to drop is Aspen Tucker's 9-7.
Nice jump. Tough jump to a sisson. Front full, little short of rotation. Couldn't quite get the stick.
It's a couple of notes from Shannon Welker. There is your stick tracker. It looks like Alabama with 12 is having a heck of a night. In fact, they're extending their lead and led by 15/100ths of a point, and they are scoring well on floor. Ari Guerra had a 9-9 as it sets up Shannon Olson, the freshman Canadian Olympian.
Watch how easy this full in is. She does it in pike position. Piece of cake.
Challen is a freshman from Vancouver, British Columbia.
One thing she has to do, though, is really continue to work on cleaning up the leg form in the dance. These in-between pieces of choreography. From the knees down, she's just a little underdeveloped. But the tumbling is spectacular. Front through to double back. Her ability to lift off the floor using very little run.
It's very deceiving, in fact.
It is. Oh, hold those toes pointed in the leaps. In a leap, it is all about difficulty. So she has spent the better part of her career learning those difficult skills and really getting lots of bonus points for them.
And as Dana Duckworth says, she can do every trick in the book. Look at the power.
Wow, great tumbling passes, all 3. As we said, she does very little run. The power is deceiving, just pops it off the floor.
Alabama last week lost to LSU at home. This team is 6-2 on the season. They're just trying to find the proper lineup and the proper consistency. We're seeing some improvement from this team over last year, where they hit all 24 routines at the national championship, but ended up 8th place.
She opens with one of the more difficult series on beam. It's a triple series with the final 2 elements, layout, step out. Actually, 2 back answer to layout, step out. I thought she did 2 layouts.
Whitney Ward, the senior from Ozark, Missouri.
Beautiful position in the leap and the pike jump. She has excellent form in those leaps and jumps.
Last year, 6 times she was 9-9 or better on beam. And she's typically the closer for this team on this event.
She has the best combination of difficulty, form on the leap. Wow.
Oh, what a save.
Just swung that back foot through on that side aerial.
That's experience.
Turns with a 1.5 twist. Oh, could not quite get that landing. Was really thinking about it in the air, though. Love the straight legs, pointed toes. Very good technique on this triple series. And I love this stave. Need a little bit more amplitude on that side aerial. Probably cut it short just a little bit. Under rotated and had to step forward.
Less experienced gymnast might have panicked on that, but she finessed it beautifully at the end of that acrobatic skill. Okay, as we go now to the floor, Emily Gaskins will be their final performer for Alabama. Challen Olson, a 9.85.
And she warmed up a double layout, looked fine in the warm-up, so I'm assuming we'll see it right here. There it is.
Oh, nice. Emily Gaskins, the freshman from Coral Springs, Florida. Spent 3 years on the U.S. national team.
Front through to a double back, just like Shallon's middle pass. Unfortunately, out of bounds, over the line, 1/10 of a point. Oh, and fell out of that turn. And she loves country line dancing, so had to get that into the routine. And they love it in Tuscaloosa. Nice position on those leaps.
My goodness.
We didn't think that was going to get around. Just a little sluggish. Beautiful finish. Love the PK turns and the violin strung, but unfortunately that last landing is going to be a
Hats off to her for going for the double layout at the start of the routine, but it might have cost her a bit here
Absolutely.
in terms of endurance.
She had to put so much into that double layout, and it was a little bit short. She had to pipe down a little. Nice job on this second pass, but it went too far back and she didn't quite aim it right into the corner. So 10th of a point for out of bounds.
And Emily Gaskins, the freshman for Alabama, comes up a bit short. But speaking of freshmen, when we come back, we'll take a look at the top freshmen in the SEC and what makes this freshman class so special. Alabama leads by 4/10 of a point as we go to the fourth and final rotation. Alabama will be on the beam. The Missouri Tigers on the floor. What an exciting night of gymnastics in the conference. Georgia had a season high tonight with a 197-425 and a win over Arkansas. Sydney Sneed had a great meet. 9.95 on vault and a 9.9 on bars. And Rachel Dixon, a 9.9 on bars with a perfectly stuck landing and a 9.95 on floor. A huge score for Georgia to get the win over the Razorbacks. So we're set now, Kathy, for the fourth and final rotation, as is typical in collegiate gymnastics. These two teams separated by less than about a half a point. Alabama impressed us last week with their work on beam. They'll need to be equally impressive tonight to hold off Missouri, who's on floor.
Absolutely. What's nice is both of these teams have momentum. They have done an extraordinary job building through each of the lineups on every single event. Missouri was great on beam. I know they're thrilled about that lineup performance.
Alonza Cloffer, the sophomore from New Jersey, will lead off the Crimson Tide here. Now, this is an event where typically they're ranked in the top 10 or 12 in every event. This is an event where they're ranked 27th in the country because they had a disastrous performance earlier in the year, and that low score figures into their season average to this point.
It was, but I have to say they were also being judged very, very harshly, very critically with that concentration pause deduction. Those judges took that seriously and hammered them, really. So they're a much better beam team because of it, because they've really worked on choreographing the routines around that. So it kind of it pushed them and pushed them in a good way.
This is another event where, of course, the challenge for the Crimson Tide this year is to replace the 9.9s from Kiana Winston and Nikki Guerrero. Those two young ladies have graduated.
This is a great lead-off routine for them. Very strong. Acro series is a front aerial. She kept those arms moving to get that connection. There's a combination into her dismount, cat leap aerial, right into the full. A little bit of a pipe down, but nice job.
Boy, that does a lot for a team when the first beam routine is rock solid in terms of confidence. Now here's Allison Bauer. She's the leadoff on floor, the senior from Mesa, Arizona.
This is a double pike, double tuck routine. She's going to open with a double back. She'll show two different shapes. First one in pike position.
One of the best events for Missouri in terms of season rankings. They're ranked 10th in the country on floor. 16th overall.
Short of rotation. She was leaning back on the landing. Finessed it pretty well, though. She's a little bit shy on this routine. Kind of has to bust loose a little bit, show off this choreography, make it just a little bit bigger. There's that double back in tuck position, good control on the landing.
That shyness just seems to be part of her personality. Sometimes it's hard to break out of that.
As I said, she did two double backs in this routine. The first one was a piked position. This was a tuck position. Good landing.
Her brother Alan, member of the Oklahoma men's team and U.S. national team member as well. So quite a family of gymnasts. His mom, in fact, was the Big 8 all-around champion at Nebraska back in 1990. So we go back to the beam now. 9.825, a strong score for Alonza Klopfer, and that brings up Maddie Desch. She's very good here.
And one of the benchmarks that Dana Duckworth placed on this competition, she wants her athletes on beam to have what she calls bright eyes. That's their cue. Eyes up off the beam and out, looking out so that the judges can actually see them present. It's part of the artistic expression, artistic presentation. And it's really up to 0.2 of a point that the judges have to deduct if it's lacking.
And you know, when you see a team who's really good at it, it really resonates.
Oh, so far so good, but that was a mistake, and she tried to cover it out of that full turn, turn it into a 1.5. Trying to get those legs a little bit more stretched out on those split jumps. Love the presentation quality. That is really improved. Good fight on that landing. A little bit under-rotated, but she fought all the way through. You can really see the difference when they get out of their shell and actually smiling on beam, relaxes and calms, but she unfortunately had to cover out of that full turn, try and turn it into a pivot turn afterwards, and they'll take a deduction though.
We'll head back to the floor for Missouri.
I think she was trying to add a shimmy there to that little cover, little impromptu choreography.
Allison Bauer, a strong 9.875 to start them off.
The way she turned right into the corner, ran out into her tumbling run, up front with a double twist.
Had her career best of 9.9 on floor against Illinois last year. A junior from Richland Hills, Texas.
Front layout. Beautiful footwork there. Very expressive routine. She really uses the facial expression. Nice position in the loops. Very good musicality, body movement. One of the most expressive routines, really, on Missouri's. floor lineup. Nice job. Enjoyed that. This first pass is a front layout with a double twist. Notice how she just keeps that heel up as long as it doesn't go down and make contact with the floor over the line. She's fine. A little bit shorter rotation on that front double twist.
Alabama's Maddie Dash had a 9.775. That brings up junior Winter Childers. He has struggled with consistency a bit on this event. Keep in mind, Alabama's competing without Abby Armbrecht, who typically does 3 events superbly for the Crimson Tide. And so adding a little extra pressure to the rest of the lineup here.
I like that full turn. It's a basic requirement on beam, but she does it with the leg and back in the arabesque. And I love that front toss. A nice consistency on a very difficult element. A front toss to one leg into the scale.
Skill was made rather famous by Nastya Lukin, Olympic champion in 2008 from the U.S.
And a 1.5 twist. Didn't get the landing, but a really nice job on the routine. All of the gymnasts have to perform a leap series, connect these 2 elements. She does 3, shows off almost a split in that first one. That's a sheep jump, very difficult. The second one, toes need to be maybe a little bit higher, closer to the head. And slight over rotation on the 1.5.
Trying to get the crowd pumped up here. Missouri trying to get back into this. They were trailing by 0.4 of a point. Now it's just 0.35, so they're gaining a bit in this final rotation against the Crimson Tide, and that brings up Morgan Porter.
And how wonderful to see her perform on the floor exercise. That was a scary landing on bars that at the very least rattled her. But boy, she came storming back, wanted to do beam. They played it safe there. But she is obviously fine. Nice lift on pike double back.
Sometimes those hyperextended landings
can look worse than they are.
And they're scary and they're frightening. She is so strong. It's likely that the strength in her muscles could hold stability in that joint. A weaker gymnast might have suffered an injury there.
And I can say it now, it was a stuck landing. So that was the unfortunate part. Nice control on her combination pass. Big smile at the end. Like that I'm seeing a little bit bigger presentation on some of these routines. I had mentioned that the first time we saw them against Florida. And in contrast, the routines just looked smaller. They needed to really present bigger. And now I'm seeing that. Nice job on tuck double back. Good for her.
Coach Shannon Welker told us earlier this week that one of his goals for his team was to meet the Kathy Johnson seal of approval in terms of presentation. You're seeing an improvement.
And on these landings too. And all it is chest up, control on the 2 feet before you step into the lunge. And that step can't be too large. Well done.
Good to see her doing well after that scary landing on bars. Well done for Morgan Porter. Back to beam now. Winter Childers had a 9.825, and this is Shallon Olson.
Great flexibility. A really pretty pose to open this routine with. Here's her series back handspring, layout step out. Normally she does 2 there. Stitch lead, double stag. She really has the perfect college coach to work with. Dana Duckworth is a stickler for those details that she can just work on as the meets go by. Really try to clean up those little things because she's got the big things. Watch this, like that little body wave to keep this moving. No concentration, pause, 2 back handsprings, pike double back.
Wow.
Extreme difficulty there. She landed a little bit short on that one, but there are so few gymnasts that can whip that fast into a pike double back.
And it looks like it's easy for her.
Macro series, back handspring layout, step out. But this was the grand finale of, and she can pull that thing around. They will take that deduction for that big step forward, but I'd love to see the difficulty.
And one of the hardest dismounts being done in college gymnastics, the young freshman, Shalyn Olsen from Canada. Wow. Back to the floor now. Morgan Porter had a 9.875. That brings up Gabrielle Gatula.
Look at the height on pike double back. Really nice lift, good technique.
She's a big personality. Her teammates call her Count Gatula.
Combination pass, Brandy to Rudy. Ooh. Fortunately, that's a fall. Didn't quite get the twist all the way around. She really warmed that up a lot. So I know she was a little bit worried about that pass.
A really unusual pass, a Brandy to
yeah, it's not easy for the combination. A little bit of a sickle foot on that front foot on the floor. You really have to be cognizant of those feet, even when you're rolling around on the floor. Keep them pointed. Tuck double back. I love the lift she gets. It continues to rise on those double backs. Too bad she had the trouble on that middle pass.
Yeah, that'll be a big deduction, unfortunately, as they were building on that momentum. But as you mentioned earlier, that Missouri was always worried about that oops routine in the middle of the rotation.
That was probably the oops right there. It was a little one. The rest of the routine was good.
Wow, what a night at gymnastics. Number 2 Florida visiting number 1 Oklahoma in Norman. The Sooners got the win by 0.3 of a point over the Gators. Freshman Olivia Troutman, who's Maggie Nichols' former club teammate. She won the all-around with 4 career highs. And look at that for this Florida on beam,
that would have been
49.6.
a fun meet to be at. I wish we could have sent our doppelgangers there.
Great night of exciting gymnastics in the SEC, and of course that was an SEC Big 12 matchup between 2 of the finest teams in the country. As we go back to beam, Emily Gaskins.
Nice cover because she was a little bit off on that layout step out. She just kept walking backwards.
Shalyn Olsen had a 9.75.
Dana's going to be happy with these bright eyes, really looking out from the beam, performing these routines outward while keeping center right over the beam, locked in. I like the strong feet here on this routine. Oops, little hesitation. She might not get that connection of those 2 leaps. You can't show any break in either rhythm or balance to get credit for those combinations. Nice amplitude on the side of the area. Love that she hops right up into that high releve.
Oh, nice.
And the build to the finish. Nice routine, nice composition of that routine. I really like the quality of the routines we're seeing from Alabama, both on bars and being really nicely done and well performed.
That was one of their goals tonight, was really improve the quality and the overall presentation on beam. We're seeing a bunch of improvements for Alabama there. Now, it's interesting, this meet has gotten closer, though. Missouri trailed by 4/10 of a point coming into this fourth and final rotation. They've closed the gap by 2/10. So they are only 2/10 of a point behind as we come into this performance from Aspen Tucker. As we noted, Gabrielle Gatula, an 8.975. That will be one of the scores they hope to drop and replace with a big score here from Tucker.
Big half in, half out. Deduction on the flat footwork on her dance, but boy, do I look forward to the tumbling passes. Look at that double twist into the back layout step out. And she does a nice job bringing the audience in to this choreography. Double, solid landings on all three passes. Well, I don't think I have to tell you, the highlights of this routine are the tumbling passes. Half in, half out. Solid as can be on the landings. We'll see what the judges do. There were a few little built-in deductions on some of the leaps and jumps and flat footwork in between, but she had to have impressed those judges with these tumbling passes.
Full in at the beginning and a pike double at the end. Well done. Lexi Graber will wrap it up for Alabama on the beam. Emily Gaskins before her, a 9.825. She had a career highlight of 9.925 on the beam to close out and clinch the victory over Georgia this year. A big emotional win for them.
This is her series. I was going to say, she doesn't need much beam to do that series. She starts at about 3/4 of the way from the end and fits it all in there. Straddle 3/4, a little bit more difficult than some of the jumps we've seen in other routines. Drop down to the knees, that's fun. There, those bright eyes, looks out, makes eye contact with the judges. Shows confidence and poise on this event when you can do that. It's also very relaxing for the athlete to stay calm but aggressive. Nice front toss to the scale, right into the dismount. Ooh, a little micro hop back. The nice thing is there's so much improvement in these routines, and yet there's still little things that they can go back and work on. They can get even better. They're going to take off for lifting that leg and losing the balance. But fought, came back strong here.
Be interesting to see what the score is. Graber needs a 9.9 or better for Alabama to clinch the win tonight. And I don't know what they're going to come up with there, but we go right to floor for Madeline Huber. Missouri does have a chance because Aspen Tucker had a career-high 9.9. The judges certainly appreciated that tumbling, Kathy. We weren't sure we were going to see Madeline Huber. She was in and out of the lineup a couple of times this week. They've had some injuries. We thought we might see McKaylee Turner, but now it's Huber who has a chance to finish it off for Missouri.
Oh, front layout to front full. That second somersault needed to be higher and have a little bit more rotation.
Lexi Graber scores in as a 9.75 for Alabama. That means Huber needs a 9.9 or better for Missouri to win. Remember, it was about a year ago that Missouri hosted Florida here and surprised Florida on an off night. Got a big victory against an SEC foe.
She was a little bit awkward on those leaps and jumps. That will probably be a deduction, but that's my favorite part of the routine. That 2.5 twist is beautiful.
Remember, 9-9 or better for Missouri to win.
Little bent arms on that back handspring. Didn't quite get the lift. She pulled the pike double around, but it was a little low. So I know they're excited, and I'm excited for her, but there were little bitty deductions in there that the judges should take.
The only 9-9 so far for Missouri was Aspen Tucker's 9-9, a career high for her.
And that takes absolutely nothing away from this effort, this routine. I loved this pass, the 2.5 twist. That showed the most control of the 3 tumbling runs. Right here, arms were bent on the back handspring. Low, deep bend on the landing. The judges should take those deductions, but they built so much momentum that sometimes that's hard to do.
Win or lose, I think that Shannon Welker will be pleased with his team's effort tonight. And how about that? We mentioned at the top of the meet that we're also focusing on the stuck landings as the Central Missouri Food Bank benefits from the Stick It to Hunger competition, and these two teams tied with 16 stuck landings. Shannon Welker told us that for every stuck landing for the Missouri Tigers, they will donate 5 jars of peanut butter. So that means a minimum of 90 jars of peanut butter will go to the Missouri Food Bank. Good for them. And the score is in, as you had predicted, Kathy, a 9-6-7-5 for Madeline Huber. That means the Crimson Tide comes into Columbia, and they will get the win. They had a 0.4 point lead coming into this rotation. They squandered half of it, but by 0.2 points, Alabama gets the victory here tonight in Columbia. And when we come back, we'll talk to their head coach, Dana Duckworth, for the winning Crimson Tide. And by 0.2 points, they defeat the host team, the Missouri Tigers. It was a great night of gymnastics here. I'm Bart Connor along with Kathy Johnson-Clark, and we're here with the winning coach, Dana Duckworth. You said before the competition that you had some metrics that you were looking for besides just the W. What were your impressions of your team tonight?
I think that we were Gumby. I tell the girls, we have to just stretch either way and come back into form because so many different things were popping up and happening. And I thought that the fight and the resilience and the ability to just adapt was incredible. And I think that we didn't get the landings that we totally wanted, but I also feel like that it was a very aggressive performance, and we were looking for that too.
Well, and I think you have a surprise for us with all those sticks, if you can fill us in on that.
Well, we wanted to contribute to Missouri's cause. I want to congratulate them. I think they must have had a wonderful meet, and I just thought that we asked our parents to chip in, and so we ended up with I think it was 33 jars of peanut butter for their cause. And you know what? This is what builds character. The wins and the losses, and when you're in the tough time, that's when you're building character. That's when you're getting better. And so, you know, we are getting better every week, and I just believe in this team. They are so talented, and we're just going to continue to take one step at a time. And we're going to use peanut butter as a motivator, I guess, to stick this week.
There you go.
And extra crunchy, of course, is my favorite.
Let's take a look, though, at some of the highlights of your team tonight, and let us know what you felt and thought as they performed.
I was so excited for Shay. She's hitting her handstands more and more. This is 2 weeks in a row where she has nailed that dismount and sold it. I cannot say enough about this young woman right here. Right here, she has a beautiful pull in. Love the control, love the presentation. And you know what? Lexi's not 100% right now. Now, Ari Guerra, you know, we were going to do the double layout. We landed a little short in warm-ups. I said, sweetie, let's just do the double tuck and do a great routine. Look at this nail. I mean, I think that gets
5 jars of peanut butter for sure.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Dana Duckworth. What an incredible show both teams put on for us tonight.
Well, we appreciate everything that y'all do for gymnastics. We're so excited about where our sport is headed. And, you know, a close competition like this, make it exciting for our fans.
And a great night of gymnastics again in the SEC. A season high for the Missouri Tigers, 196.55. Alabama had season highs on floor and bars to get the win tonight here in Columbia. A great night of gymnastics. Congratulations, Dana Duckworth and the Alabama Crimson Tide. For Kathy Johnson-Clark, I'm Bar Connor. Coming up next is SEC Storage. Suzanne versus Sarah. So long from Columbia.